Hey guys, hope you're doing well. People have been asking me what do I use to record my podcast, or how do I kind of do it using video, different things like that. I've gotten a couple of people ask me for tutorials, so I figured why not make one, right? I'm obviously currently in my kitchen. But the pandemic kind of forced me to start doing virtual interviews, which is fine. And I use what I knew, which is Zoom. And that's because I'd been working with it for a while. This isn't normally what I do. I usually just record in kind of my sound studio where it is better for sound, and it's in my garage. But this is what I'm doing for the time being, and it makes it accessible. I don't want to be hanging out in my garage and then having to kind of reload, move around. I can just go from one thing to the next, and I'm fine. So I'm in my kitchen. Well, welcome to my kitchen. You can see hot sauce. You can see a ton of stuff. This is my life, right? It's messy, but this is what I'm doing. So I'm using Zoom specifically, and I'm using the most recent version of Zoom. It looks the same on a PC or as well as a Mac, which I use a Mac specifically, but it's going to look the same. So whatever you see here, I mean, it's easily translatable, and I'm going to share my screen here. So it is going to ask you and prompt you to where you want to download recordings. Essentially, you go just set it up to record straight to your desktop, to your computer, to your device, instead of the cloud, which is an option. I'm not sure if you have to pay for the cloud. I know that for my company that I work for, that's an option, so it makes it easily shareable. But the downside to that is that you can't manipulate the video, and you're gonna have to download it anywhere. So with that said, you can go in here. So as you can see, these are cool little widgets. You can set up a new meeting and immediately start recording. Typically, I want to schedule things out. You can join a meeting, share screen. There's going to be some screen share that you'll see here on this one. So essentially, you just go into schedule a meeting. And for this one, I'm going to be setting it up for like LOE, which is Land of Enlightenment Podcast. And then adding the name of the guest. So for example, Sarah is going to be on my podcast soon. So Sarah is going to be there. I'm just going to type it in so it's easily identifiable, and it doesn't, it looks nice and neat on the left-hand column whenever I do kind of look through my schedule. And just set it out a day in advance. So let's say the 30th, for example, set up a time. Now it's not limited. It doesn't kick you off. Say you only leave it for 30 minutes, but I will say that if you're late for any reason, or I mean, I would say more than 5 minutes late, it will fall off your schedule. So you won't be able to kind of set it up and start to record. You may have to go into the invite itself that you sent to your guest, and from there click in, and it'll allow you to be the host. So make sure that you're in there on time, setting it to the right time zone here. As you can see, I'm in Mountain Time, and setting it up to the right time. So you can set it to an hour. If you say you set it to 30 minutes and go to an hour, it's going to be fine. It's not a big deal. I'd say generate an automatic ID. It makes it safer in the sense that nobody's going to be able to kind of hack in. If somebody accidentally uses your login for their new Zoom meeting, they'll accidentally jump into your meeting and it'll just throw things off, throw the recording off. So generate a new one every single time. And then something simple that will be simple for your guests. So for example, whoops, see, simple. How simple was that? Not simple at all. So again, LOE podcast, and then Sarah, I'm all over the place with this. And then Sarah, again, pretty straightforward there. Participants video, my video, I would say yes. It forces people to go right into video mode. It doesn't give them the option. Sometimes people don't know. Always tell your guests that they're going to be on video ahead of time. That way they're ready. Maybe they have a messy hair. Guest wants to put on a cap. They want to get their makeup done. That way everyone's camera ready. You don't want to catch anybody off guard, right? And also it makes it nicer to be able to kind of see people. So set the tone, set the camera on, set video on. You can set up your calendars here. If you do have iCalendar or Google Calendar, it's going to prompt you once you hit schedule to log in there and set that up. Or you can just do other calendar, as you see there. I'm just going to do kind of a default one here for today so you can see it, and I'll just delete it later. advanced options. This is an important one. You can enable waiting room in case somebody does, you forget to do generate automatically and you do your personal one. That way it's the same every single time. What will happen is you can set a waiting room, and that way people can you have to admit them manually into the meeting, so that way nobody jumps in on accident. Enable join host before meeting. Somebody can jump in before you're there, not without a problem, and just kind of throws them into a little waiting room, virtual waiting room. And then automatically record meeting. I hold off on doing this one. I used to do it right away, but the issue with that is that if you're going to get a ton of like free space and dead air beforehand. So, you're going to have to edit it out anyway. So this just kind of makes it easier. That way I can just go in, tell the guest, hey, I'm going to lead you in. Do you have any questions before we start recording? Anything that's off topic, stuff like that. So I tend to leave it off, schedule it. And if you don't have anything set up, this is pretty simple. It sets up the invite, copy invite, and then you can just email it to them, set it up on your calendar. That way you don't forget. Remember to set it up in your calendar. For example, here, I can just set it up really easily. Go to iCalendar, do something really quickly, say add an event, and then add notes here. If it decides to load, and then just drop it in there, paste, and then send the invite if you want to add invitees. Say Star Punctures is one of my common guests, fill that in, and it'll send it off. So I'm just going to close this off really quickly. This is what I was talking about when it came to meetings. This is your schedule. As you can see here, I set that one up for today. I'm just going to delete it. Don't need it. Just to show you guys, but I have a list of different podcasts, meetings that I have. I do 2 different podcasts, one for my company, one for myself there. All right. So once you have everything recorded, let's say you're in a meeting, new meeting, you see me there. Hello. I'm not going to need audio for this one, but when you do, you can toggle. It's going to make me do it. Okay. There we go. All right. So now it's recording audio. You're going to have a couple of different options here. It's going to default to built-in mic. Built-in mic is great. It's just fine, whatever you have. If you have like a headset, something like this works perfectly. I would recommend at the very least something like this, right? That way you're capturing the audio. Something like this is okay, but everyone has to start somewhere. If all you have is your onboard computer mic, that's fine. It'll default to this, but just know that the sound is not going to be the best. So I definitely would say, give it a shot, test it out, see what you think, test it out yourself beforehand. And that way you can know what works best. But you will have to go to this little drop down or drop up, I guess, menu, and then select, this is my mixer. I have a mixer, a 4-mic mixer, Phantom mic mixer. So I plug it in via USB. It shows up as USB audio codec. Or you can just go to built-in input or built-in microphone of some sort, whatever you want to do. That way the audio does come through. Always test it beforehand just to make sure it's working. As you can see, there's some lag here. It's just part of the deal sometimes with the internet. That's probably because I'm trying to run 2 videos at the same time, so there is a lag. It won't happen if I'm not recording using my screen record software. And then internal or output. Essentially the output for the speakers, say I don't have a mic or a headset or headphones like I just showed you hooked into my computer or my desktop here, it'll come out the speakers, the built-in speakers, and you're going to get echo into here and just feedback. So you want to make sure to set it up so that there are essentially just you plug in a headset. Plug in a headset and then just set it up. Just plug in one of these things into your ear. That way you can hear your guest, and then you'll be all set. It looks a little goofy since you have this set up and then this, so you can hear yourself. That's why I have these, so I can hear my own voice and make sure I can hear the background noise. It's important to hear that, but at least you'll be able to hear your guest. Otherwise, you're gonna see them talking, you're not gonna hear them, and it's gonna sound like you're talking to yourself. It just avoids a lot of issues. So just do that. All right, so let me set this aside. You'll have those, and then you're gonna hit record. Once you hit record, it's gonna start recording the video. It's gonna toggle back and forth depending on who's speaking. And Once you're done recording, let's see, hit record really quickly. Record just some stuff, for example, nothing too big. Just so you can see it, I'm gonna end meeting, and it's not gonna do anything until I end the meeting. All right, so now it's converting it. It's gonna be relatively quick. This is gonna take a lot longer. Usually it does. So see, this is gonna be today's Zoom, and you go in here. So now I'm gonna jump in to, and just FYI, when you do download Zoom and record things, it's gonna create a neat little automatic file here enabled Zoom in your documents, and you're going to be able to kind of look at different dates, different videos. So we're going to be working with this sample one I just created. I'm going to do, typically how I found this website is I just typed in this exactly, MP4 to MP3 converter free. And I went through a couple of different ones. As you can see, some of those are pre-highlighted, but this is my favorite one. Pretty straightforward, online-audio-converter.com. Just open files. You're gonna have to go back to documents, Zoom. As you can tell, it was the last one, so it's easy to find. And then just open. You're gonna go in here, move this up to best. It usually takes a while, so it's not usually this quick, but again, we're doing this just so you have an idea as to what it's gonna look like. You select convert. It's gonna convert really quickly here, again, because it's short. Don't worry if it's taking a long time. It doesn't take forever. It's relatively quick, so it's great. It's free. If you're concerned about viruses, I mean, I use a Mac, so I'm not too concerned. But if you're using a PC, you give it a shot. Be careful what you're downloading and what you're using. Always check. Make sure that you're scanning for viruses after the fact. But this is pretty safe, at least in my opinion. So I'll just download it really quickly here. And now I just have an MP3 file ready to use. I can pull it into, say here, this is a previous podcast I had been working on. I was doing something there, so I'm just gonna create new. I use GarageBand because that's what I've been using for free. I don't need a ton of extras. It's pretty simple, it's pretty safe. It's, again, free. It came with my MacBook. So I'm just gonna go in here, save that. Let's do a test, new folder. All right, actually, podcast tutorials, let's do that. And then test. Save that in there. All right, pick this up. I'm gonna change this to no effects. Make sure I'm doing that there, because you can record straight into GarageBand as well. Usually I do this if I'm not recording via Zoom or I don't have any video. That's what I used to do at the very least. So what I can do here, since it downloaded, I'll just go to my downloads file. It's very likely the last one. Yeah, ooh, it's not. Let's see here. Today, it's this one. So I'm just gonna drag it up here. And it's done. And now we can just kind of edit, throw things in there. Yeah, it's pretty great. It's fun. Let's see. Hit record really quickly. Record just some stuff, for example. As you can hear that it recorded it. You can save it. You'll share, export podcasts to disk. From there, that's a whole different thing, a different tutorial really. You guys got a little extra with this portion, but I'll be setting up a new tutorial to show you what I do from here once you edit everything, how to edit in GarageBand potentially, and then how to export and upload to a platform that hosts your podcast. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that video. If there's anything else that you want me to kind of show you how to do, I'm more than happy to jump on, record some stuff for you. I'll probably end up getting a better camera at some point, and make this more of a usual thing. But I'm more than happy to do tutorials and help you all learn how to do easy, free things using the softwares that you already have. So yeah, let me know. Make sure to rate, subscribe. Share this video with people, and get at me. Have a good one, guys. Bye.